Hi everyone, my name is Agnes Fries and I'm the creator of the online design tool called the Grid Designer. The Grid Designer is a drawing tool for creating craft color charts. You can use the Grid Designer to make charts for crafts like knitting, crochet, latch hook, cross stitch, and anything else where you need a grid-based color chart. As you're listening to this video, there are 3 things I'd like to ask you to do. 1, if there's content in the video that's useful for you, please click the like button at the bottom of the screen. If you want to see more content like this, click the subscribe button on the lower right corner of the screen. If you have any questions or comments, please leave me a comment below the video. Thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to show you how to digitize a line drawing. That can be kind of difficult, and so I want to show you some trick you can use to do that. And then once we've brought the line drawing in, we're going to color it in and make this picture out of it. Okay, so the line drawing I'm getting is just the line drawing of this cat. This was submitted to Pixabay, and you can get to Pixabay at pixabay.com. This is submitted by Gordon Johnson, and it's a nice little drawing of a kitty cat that we can use to make our own little pattern. And Pixabay allows free downloads for any use that you want. I'll be adding some attribution, uh, putting this link to this particular cat in the description under this video. So if you want the link to this picture, it'll be in the description of the video. If it's not, be sure and leave me a comment and let me know. And then we're going to take this. I downloaded this picture already, so I have it on my machine. Then we're going to turn that into our own colored picture by digitizing. We're going to digitize all the lines that are drawn in it, and then fill it in with our own colors and things, whatever we want to do there. And this is such a simple drawing. I'm doing this for a Grafkin. But you could do this for latch hook rug or for cross stitch or for anything that you want. Maybe even knitting, because this is a fairly simple thing. You might be able to knit this into your knitting fabric or do duplicate stitch of whatever pieces on top of your knitting. Okay, so I'm going to first go ahead and just kind of clear this out so I can start from scratch here. So to get to the Grid Designer, you want to go to freezeworks.com here, click on the Grid Designer tab up at the top, and that will take you to the Grid Designer. It'll look like this. It has the default project up to start with. Then we click on Project, and we pick up the option Create from Image. Okay. Then we say Select Image, and then I need to find my cat. Here's my cat. Okay, so here's my cat from Pixabay by Gordon Johnson. And we now want to digitize those lines over here into our pattern. So I'm going to pick, first thing we have to do is pick a palette to use. And since I'm going to be doing this as like a crocheted Grafkin, I'm going to pick Red Heart Super Saver. Okay. And so we have some lines up here. I'm going to look first at the grid size down here. I want to set this to whatever I'm doing, and here's where you'd set it to be latch hook if you want latch hook, or knitting or crochet or whatever. So I'm going to pick crochet, and I'm going to do the single crochet gauge. This is just a general gauge which will give you a nice little slightly rectangular shape to the cells, but single crochet when it's worked is almost square. So now we're getting a line drawing over here. Now when I do this, I want to have only 2 colors, so I'm going to change that to 2. Okay, and I want it to be a little bit smaller. I think this is a little big. I really want to go down to 100, say. Okay, Now, this is the problem that happens. You look at this picture and you say, this is such a simple picture. I just want to digitize this in so I can have the lines so I can do what I want to do with it. And the problem is, and you think it's so simple that you'd like to put it in a small space. You don't, it shouldn't really have to be really large. But these lines that are on the drawing are fairly thin. If they're thicker lines, it will work a little better with this particular setting. But what we can do, and this is the little trick that I want you to know, is that we can change the digitization type down here. Right now it's sharp. And sharp is sort of like hit or miss. If the lines are thin, it may not see the pixel that's black when it's doing the digitization. So what we want to do here is we want to change this from sharp to smooth. And when we change it to smooth, then it does an averaging. And so it looks over more cells and does some averaging of that. So it's more likely to find the black pixel, the tiny black pixel that's in here, and be able to extrapolate that into this grid. This cell in the grid should be, some a color that's not white, right? And so in this case, what you're going to get, even though this is black, you're going to get a kind of a gray here because the gray is sort of an average between the white and the black. And so, but this will get your lines better. So just to show you again, if you're trying to make a smaller version of a line drawing and you go with the sharp digitization, then you're going to get this pixelization like this, and your lines are not going to draw. So what you want to do is go in and pick the smooth digitization algorithm there, so digitization type. Okay, and so now our grid size is about 100. So that'd be 33 by 27 inches. So that would be kind of a small wall hanging or something, a little blanket or something. And so we're going to go back to our palette. Now what we've got in the palette is, because it's averaging the black and the white and coming up with this kind of gray color, it's picking the color oatmeal in here in our palette, this kind of grayish color. But as of the beta 08 release, which just happened a few days before I'm making this video, we can now pick a substitution value. So we're going to pick, we could pick closest, but I think black is not going to probably be that close to that. So I want to go down here and find black. I want my final color to be black, okay, when it comes out. Okay, so I've done the substitution here. You can also do the substitution after you can create it with the color oatmeal. Do create project and create it with the color oatmeal, and then you can use the color substitution in the main editor to substitute the black in. That'll work exactly the same. But I now have these the ability to do the substitution in here so that you can see it even before you create your project. So you can substitute colors while you're digitizing. Okay, so let's click on Create Project. I think I'm ready. Okay, so now we've got our line drawing. Now there are probably going to be a few spaces and gaps and things in here as it was digitized. So because it's going to be, still, even though it's averaging, it might miss some of the lines that are in there. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take our drawing tool. We're going to go up here. We're going to pick the black. And I'm going to fill in a few of these spaces. This is kind of a heart, so maybe I might make that come out just a little bit more. Something like that. And we're going to fill in these things, because what I'm going to do in a second is I'm going to use the fill tool to color in the insides of the picture. And if there are gaps, like for instance, if I left it with gaps in it, like there are gaps here that where the color can, if I do the fill tool, the color can come out, like here, the color would be able to leak out. So that if I think I've got the tail all selected. So let me show you. Say we pick it's kind of an orange tabby. So I'm going to pick this orange color. So now I've got the tail all sealed up. But if I've got the cat, if I've got openings in the cat to the outside, then when you click on it, it's going to just color everything. And we don't want that. So let's undo that. So I'm going to continue to use the pencil tool a little bit. And we're just going to follow the outline of the cat here and just kind of fill in any places where we think that color might leak out. So let's color that in. And maybe over here, maybe over there. This is a gap in the drawing that's supposed to be there. And the flower we're going to fill in just a minute. It did a fairly good job. I don't see a whole lot of other gaps. Let's give it a try with the fill tool. So we come in here and we color our cat. Okay. And these are probably these stripes. We probably want those to be black. So I need to fill those in just a little bit so that we can use the fill tool to fill those in. This one was actually already filled. That can probably be black up there too. Now we'll get our bucket and we'll fill that black and this black and that black and that black. Okay. And we need a little bit more of orange over here. There's a couple places that the fill tool didn't quite get to. And let's see, maybe you want to make that, I'm going to just put this to black for a moment. Then if you've watched some of the other drawing videos, one of the things that's really useful is the fact that if you're on a desktop machine, you can use the left and right mouse buttons to draw. So I call it the quick draw here. So the two-fingered quick draw. So we've got foreground color is orange and the background color is black. So the orange is drawn with the left mouse button, black is drawn with the right mouse button, and so that's what I'm doing here. I'm using left and right mouse buttons to draw these colors. So let's put some black over here, and then I can fill a little bit of orange in here instead. Maybe we'll put that up a little bit more. Okay. All right. Let's see. We'll maybe add a little bit more to the mouth there. Maybe a little bit of things that didn't quite get. I might make the whiskers a little bit longer, something like that. We can, in the end, it's a drawing that we want it to be. I didn't really feel that we needed that line there, so I'm going to take that out, put this here, and maybe put a little bit of some other kind of leg line there. Okay, so we've got it like that. Let's fill in the rest of it. So I'm going to take this and let's put some other color like this flower and the hearts. Let's pick like a nice pink to put in there. Maybe pink for the nose, maybe pink for the ears too, pink for the flower, something like that. Okay. All right. Then, we can start playing with our background here. And let's see what we can find. I'm going to put in some color. Let's try that. See what that looks like. If we go like this. Okay. And there's a little bitty one there. Okay. So that would be maybe a background color might be okay like that. We can then go to the color substituter. Let's say if you click when you're in the color substituter here, and this is in some of my other videos too, you can click on the color and it will show up here in the bottom list. Down here is a list of all the colors that are currently used in the picture. And when you click on a color, it'll find that color in the list, and then you can do a substitution for it. So here we've got this cornmeal color, and here I can come in and say, what would it look like if I had a purple background, or something else. This is one thing that I felt was always missing from a lot of the tools that I've used, um, on the desktop for doing designs like this. And color substitution is so important because you need to be able to see how does it look with this color? How does it look with that color? How do I, what can I use for my background color that would look great? I think I decided in the end when I did the final picture, I decided I was going to divide it into, ground and sky. So we'll have I put some green grass on the bottom and sky on the top, and that's really simple to do. If we go up here, and my black is still selected as the background color, so I'm going to right mouse button down over here just to connect this on the sides like that. So we have some ground area. And then we can pick a green maybe for the bottom. Let's see, how about Patty green? So we can fill that in down here. Okay, maybe that little one too. And then up above, we might put the sky color. So let's pick pick a light blue up there. So now we've got light blue up above. Okay. Now, one thing is that the picture goes right up to the very edge of our current grid here, the way that it was digitized. So I want to put a little bit of space around that, so it will look a little bit better. So I'm going to go here from display grid size, and I mentioned how you can add borders. It's in the resize and rescale video. But we can add a border with the grid size option, okay? And we'll come down here, and what we're going to do is say our total change in rows. I'm going to add 10 rows, 10 columns, and we can decide where we want those 10 rows and columns to be added. This diagram up here shows you where it's going to add the rows and columns. So right now it would add it to the right side and on the bottom. But I want to split it. I want to split it both top and bottom and both left and right. So we've got 5 on all sides. Now, let's save our changes. Okay, now that drew a black border, and the reason it drew a black border is because I had black set here. But I think that I want to undo that, and I want to go in here and set this to the blue. Let's set that to something else, just so it's different. And then we'll just say grid size here. And I'm going to do that one more time real quick. So we got 10 and 10, split top and bottom, split left and right. So we add 5 rows all the way around. And then, so I'm basically just widening my picture here just to give it a little space around the tail. Then I'm going to use black here. And we're going to do black there, and I'm going to pick up my green here. There's a color dropper up here if you want to set your foreground or background color to a color that's already on the grid. I pick my color dropper, I click on that color green there. It's going to set it to the foreground color to that, and I say yes, please set my foreground color there. Then I pick my fill bucket and I can fill in my green down here. Okay, so that's great. We've got quite a bit of work here, so let's do a save. Cat demo. I'll say that. Okay. Now if you're doing this as a blanket or something like that, you might want a little more border around the outside, kind of like you're framing it or something like that. So let's go and let's add an orange border on the outside. So we say grid size. Let's just add 10 and 10 again. and say we'll split that top and bottom, left and right. Okay, now we've got orange on the outside, and to me it looks like it needs a little black. So I just picked the line tool here, and then let's just draw a little line around here, just to give it a little pizzazz. And I guess this is not, I think I'm coloring it green instead of black, but we can fix that in a second. Green might be okay too, because it kind of matches, it goes with that. But let's do the black. Fill tool. I'm just going to click on that line and we'll make it black. Okay, and that, is not a bad picture. So this would make a nice little blanket or something for a kid or something. I'll be sharing this pattern, and I'll put the link to it in the description of this video. So it'll be, look down in the description if you want to just get this pattern just so you could make it or do something with it, or even edit it. You'll be able to actually pick it up from where from the link that I share it on, and you'll actually be able to load this into your own version of Grid Designer, and you can edit it yourself. You could change the colors or make it whatever you want. You could add some stripes on the tail. There's lots of things that you could do. Put some trees in the background, clouds in the air, whatever you want to do there. So I'm just going to take that and say play, save. So by the way, just to share something, all you do is go to Project Share. Okay, it generates the data to be sharing it. I sort of reserve the right to delete things after 6 months. Just I'm just sort of a little concerned about how much space, if thousands of people start sharing things, how much space that would have take up on my server. So, and then you click on share, and then you get a link here. I'm going to add a copy button to this, I think, too, but you can select this text and you can copy it. I just use Control C. I'm on a Windows machine. I think Command C will do it if you're on iOS. So you can do that like that. There also are things in the browser's menu itself where you can do a copy out of it. I'm going to add a little copy button here that will copy it to your clipboard. Okay, so I've got it. I did a Control C, so I copied that out. You can also share it directly in Facebook or Twitter or wherever you want to, a bunch of other places, wherever you'd like to share it. And it should show up with a picture of your project, and other people will be able to click on it. And when they do, they will be able to load your project. And let me just show you what happens when if you share this link somewhere and someone clicks on it, then you would get this. This is what they would get when they click on your link if you share it on social media. And then you get these things down here. So you can see the pattern, which would be here. This is something you can download by just going Save Image As. Okay. And the pattern key, which tells you what yarn it was used to make the pattern in Grid Designer, name of the yarn and the name of the colors and how many cells it's used in. Now, if you're thinking about doing this in crochet, you're going to have to make some estimates of how much yarn you're actually going to need for that. And then it also creates a pattern PDF file. And this is something that you can load in. There's some apps that will load PDF files, and you can look at the pattern, and you can actually. I was using Knit Companion, which is one app that does this. You can load the PDF in. You can put this into a special page, so you always see the key down at the bottom for your colors and things like that. So the PDF itself can be used in programs like that. To download it to your machine, you would just click on the download button up here and you can download that PDF directly to your machine. Right now it's just being displayed in the browser. And then you can also, if you share this on social media. You click Load as Project. It says a project is being shared with you. So I'll open a copy of the Grid Designer and give you a copy of that project. When you edit it, you're not editing, the other person's project. You're always getting a copy of their project. So this then becomes your project, and you can save it with your own name. Right now, it has no name when you open it up, and you can save it as whatever you want, and you can edit it and do whatever you want with it. And as I said before, the link to this will be in the description of this video in case you want to get this particular pattern and edit it or do whatever you want to it. And when you click on that link, it will display this. Where am I at? It'll display this with the links down below, and you can do all of the things that I just showed you right now. Thanks very much for watching. Happy designing. Bye-bye.